If you've got an iPhone that's not holding charge, you can fix it with a battery kit. So let's do that, shall we? First off, check out this craziness. I think this battery in this phone is definitely trying to escape. It's just trying to push the screen off. That is bonkers. This thing could explode at any time. The owner said to me that it was just gradually losing charge, but last week or so it started really not holding any charge. I can tell that looks like it's about to explode. Now this is a really good kit. You can see it comes with all the tools. So I'm going to use only the tools that come with this. And it feels like a long time since I've done an iPhone 7 battery. But I feel if we look back in the videos, it will exist. I will have done it. What is this? I might even have to look at the instructions on this. These are more tools than I was expecting. And that's a really nice driver. Look at that. That's a nice metal handle. It's got 3 sets of bits with it. So let's just see what we can do before opening the instructions. How about that? Let's get those out. We're preparing the scene. Now you do notice there is a sucker in there, and that sucker is used for opening the case and getting the screen out, but I don't know if we're going to need that because it looks like the battery's done that job for us. Now we've got to find the right... Oh my gosh, that's so tiny. So there's a little tiny star Torx screw in there, and this kit has a selection, fortunately, and I found it. So I'm going to put those away. I'm going to zoom right in. And while the camera's trying to focus, I'll get that clipped in. Right, we're good to go with that. If you look ever so carefully, you'll see right there those 2 Torx. And you get the screwdriver in there, and I'm going to twist those out. So the worst thing you could have is that head being stripped. You can see my dirty nails from working on the car. But if you strip that head, it's going to be exceedingly difficult to get that. So just push in a little bit harder just to make sure you're getting that gunk moved out of the way. I'm going to do the next one this way, this angle, because it's a bit easier for me. And I'm just applying that pressure, and you can see, hopefully, as I said, this is already starting to come apart. So I suspect that's how we get to the battery. Some phones, the back comes off, but I think in an Apple, the front lever's off. I hope it does. I don't want to be breaking this person's phone. It's thinking about it. You can see it there. It's definitely thinking about it. That's a good opportunity for you to get your little plectrum guitar pick type spludger. Just work away around the edge nicely. We're going to see a fatty battery, I think, here. Again, there's a sizable... Oh, there's a screen protector on here too, though. But there's definitely a bulge. We'll be able to compare the old battery and the new one at the end of this process, hopefully. Oh my gosh, you can see there the screen has actually delaminated, so that's not what we want. So you don't want to run this between there. That's the glass and the frame where it's come apart. You actually want to get it in underneath that frame, and there's a good point there. You see it? See me just working that slightly adhesived. There, that's better. Now we should be able to push that all back together when we're done though, and it should settle down nicely because as far as I know it's a working phone. Now you can see, let's get this off. Look at that, that's quite nice, isn't it? The screen is almost able to flip over, but don't force it because it's pretty tight. I'm going to put something heavy next to it to keep that vertical while I have a look here. So the battery is there. I'm going to just eyeball this up to try to figure out which way around it goes. I suspect it's going like that, and if it's going like that, that means it's actually connected under this panel. So let's have a look at that panel. That's where I suspect we're going to go next. And looking at it, it looks like it's a tri-lobe screw. So that's why we had all of these different bits in the kit. And how many is that? I think that's 4. Let's try the other one. And they do look pretty similar, to be fair, so take your time. That has 3. Just changing the bit now. Again, remember this phone is on. If you know how to turn off an iPhone, you go ahead and turn it off. I don't, so I'm just going to leave it on and it'll go off when the battery's popped anyway. That's nice and easy. Don't lose the screws. I mean, it does come with those tweezers. You can make use of those tweezers and put them in a little pot or something, or the plastic tray that this comes with. I will work on these. No problem. Apologies if my hand is getting in the way. I hear a lot of bad press about Apple in recent years. This phone's pretty old, isn't it? An iPhone 7 feels to me that it's quite a few years old. But maybe they've been a bit naughty, not making it particularly easy to repair. So you can see that would go in there. Now we're going to take the next tool that it came with, which is plastic, so it won't short out. And we want to lever that one up. I'd probably be happy enough using some metal tweezers, but again, we're using what it came with. That was nice and easy. So you can see that there. The tool just took that up from the connector. It's some sort of like Hyros. Now, how do we liberate this battery? Because it's almost certainly glued into this back panel. I'm just going to feel around a little bit with this tool very carefully, just to see if there's any way it might be happy just to pop out. It looks like it's thinking about it, to be fair. This could be one of those scenarios that if you've got a hairdryer to heat the glue, you might get some mileage out of that. That's a little bit too hot to touch, I'd say. That's how far I've got it. Again, I'm going to prop that up there. Looking at it, it's probably quite easy to disconnect the screen and the digitizer. So, depending on your comfort level, do that. Because if this all drops, you might have a bloody big issue having to find a new screen as well. So I'm just poking our little gadget in. Now there was a trick to these. If you can find the adhesive, you could pull it out, a bit like one of those wall strips, the adhesive wall strips you can get for hanging up pictures, where you pull them out sideways and they come with you. In this case, I think that heat has really helped, so it might not need that, but because you can hear it. But you're really taking care not to puncture that battery. So make sure when you're pushing down towards the back of the shell, not in towards the face where the battery's sitting. And I can see the adhesive actually. And we're almost there. Yep, you might be able to just see in there. There's a piece of the adhesive there, and I'm just running this tool, look, like a knife. And we're good. Good job. Look at that. Now I know it's hard to tell because we've manhandled it a little bit. If you put them side by side, they are significantly different. The one on the right, and it's again, now it's hard to tell, it's at least 30% bigger. The kit came with some new adhesive strips as well, so you could stick that down if you want to stick your battery. I'm just wondering if this was a replacement battery, because there's no Apple logo or anything on it, so it would be interesting to see if Apple's batteries have different things. It does say just assembled in China. I suspect this is also an aftermarket battery, and that's why the strips on here weren't the type that you would remove. This is just something that they've got off a roll. These look far more realistic. So these are the ones where you actually do have the pull tabs to remove the battery. Now, am I in mind to use these? Not really. But purely because I think you have to be realistic about the life of this phone. I think this phone's done, you know. After this battery, I don't think anyone's going to change it. You can decide whether you want to use those or not. I don't think I will. I think I'm just going to go ahead and use the existing adhesive that's there. And I'm going to try to line this up because I want to clip that battery in. I did miss the mark a little bit. So I'm moving this around ever so slightly because I want to make sure it's aligned. There, it's aligned. Battery is in. I'm just pushing down. So it's just sticking to those existing strips. But again, your mileage may vary. This is definitely an aftermarket battery, and the adhesive has remained mainly in the phone. So I'm going to leave that. But if it was an Apple one, you definitely would have to change that again. So let's just rock this screen in onto the end where it's hinged. Again, very gently, I'm just going to try test fit. That seems okay. I'm not going to fit it down because of course we have a metal panel to put in here, but I just want it in enough because there might be enough power for me to try turning this on. So I've got the on button here. Yes, success, the phone is coming on, so it's probably going to be okay. So while that's booting up, ever so gently put it aside and let's get that panel in. And we have to take a lot of care because we don't want to short anything while we're doing this. Use the tweezers if you need to. I definitely need to, and I'm going to put that very carefully on top like that. Job is a good one. And with our screwdriver, remember those very tiny flat little screws have to go in. Now one of those screws is longer than the other. You might need to determine which one that is. I suspect the long screw is in this top right corner because it's higher and it's got more meat to go through. But look, I'm really struggling getting this on the end of the driver. That is literally about 1.5 millimeters long screw. What would happen if you didn't fit this metal panel? I suspect not much. It just gives you the extra opportunity of the battery to disconnect itself at some point in the future when you don't want it to. Let's try if that's that long screw. Oh, I don't know. That long screw doesn't like that hole. Maybe that's not where it was from. Let's try another hole. I'll try this one. Long screw in the middle. Nope. And we're going to try now long screw top right. Yes, long screw actually goes in that one. Who knew? We're almost there. I guess most of you be signing off now. You'd already know what to do at this point. I hate it when videos though just glaze over it. You know, reassembly is the opposite of disassembly. It's like, okay, but what if you come into trouble, like trying to work out what's the long screw and what's the short screw? Let's push that in. That's fitting nicely. That is already showing 58%, and looking at it, all that frame is sitting really nicely. So I'm really pleased with that. I didn't have to apply any extra heat. There is a glass screen protector on here, so I'm really reluctant to rub my thumb along it in case I get cut. But if you have a lint-free cloth, you could put it on there and just rub that and give it a good old, you know, let the heat activate it. That's okay. Let's pull up this sleeve just to show you what I mean. Just do that. Just let's get a bit of warmth. If you're just polishing the screen and you're not only pushing that bezel back into the frame area, you're actually warming that up and you'll be helping activate that adhesive again. And it'll be fine. It'll be fine for your owner of the phone, and they're going to go, great, it's all good. But if you take a picture beforehand showing them that it's going to explode, they might love you even more. Now in terms of cost of this kit, I think it was about, I don't know, 10 or 15 quid, something like that. Not much on the grand scheme of things, but really worth every penny. The fact that it came with all of those accessories and tools that you get to keep for future projects. There you go, phone's working. I'm sure that's going to keep charge for a long time. And I get some tweezers with a protector. And I get a little screwdriver set and another suction cup, guitar pick. And I just want to check something. Can this unscrew? Oh, it'd be so cool if that could unscrew to store those. But yeah, this thing's metal. This whole thing's metal. It's a real shame you've got nowhere to put the bits. other than the little jiffy bag. And I get to keep the command strips, or whatever you call them, for some other project. Hope that's been of some use to you. Like, share, subscribe, all the stuff. As ever, thank you for watching. Phone is given to a very happy owner, but as I was tidying up, I noticed this is inside the kit. I'm not quite sure if it's a screen protector or indeed that gasket we need. I think it is. That's that adhesive gasket that would stick that piece of glass to the frame. So if you do have issues because of your battery bulge has popped that out and ruined this particular thing, that's nice. It's got that in the kit. I don't think we need it in our case because that phone was in a very heavy duty screen protector, so no crud had gone in and damaged that frame. But if it had, you'd definitely use this.